Hey everyone, welcome back to the High Priestess Demari channel and to another collective reading. I hope you guys are doing well. So as you can see, we've got a few energies out already. Interesting confirmation. Okay, I was about to say that this is going to correlate to the short reading I posted just a couple of days ago. Okay, actually yesterday, to be honest. So yeah, if you have seen the eclipse, if you were present for the eclipse, if you saw that short message, then you're definitely going to want to pay close attention to this, okay? Because we even have the moon here and the lotus, okay, which were very significant to that message, okay? So also the numbers 27, 13, 4, and 23 could be significant here as well, okay? So what I'm getting here is that in terms of the symbology, you want to be very aware of your surroundings, okay? So be mindful of what you take note of. Be mindful of anything that's kind of really standing out to you in your immediate environment, especially this ambulance here, okay? If you see an ambulance like idling, maybe even come to a full stop. If you see an ambulance that is empty, okay, so they've actually parked up, then that's significant, okay? The lotus flower motif could be coming up for you a lot. The yin yang symbol could be very significant as well, okay? And of course, crescent moons, okay? So all of these things are worth paying attention to, okay? Because there is a strong message coming through for you at this time from the universe to say that you have been going through a very intense healing process, okay? And now you are coming out of this, okay? So if you felt like, you're still going through it, or, you have to come to expect another wave of turbulence, right? I don't think that's the case in this situation, okay? You are coming out the other side of some kind of healing process, okay? And it was very intense and very deep. That's why we even have melancholy here, okay? And this is why this message is coming through in more detail, because you may be feeling a plethora of emotions, okay? There could have been deep-seated, deep-rooted emotions, feelings, even sensations within the body that have been reawakened, activated, or triggered, okay? And so this isn't a time to look at this from a place of fear. This is actually a time of acknowledgement, okay? To say, listen, this is coming up because this is what you're purging out of your energetic, emotional, and physical body. Even your mind has been doing a lot of processing on an unconscious level, okay? Hence us having the moon there to begin with, okay? And so you are coming out of some very deep healing process, okay? There has been a clearing, a cleansing, a purification, a release here, okay? And it even says healing on this card, if I can show you without knocking everything over, okay? So there is healing. Balance is being restored here, okay, with the yin yang. And all it means by that is, you've come through the other side and now it's time for you to have a different experience, okay? The two are intertwined. Because of the healing you've gone through, it's enabled you to have a new experience, okay? You couldn't have experienced what's coming in the way that you will be had you not gone through it, okay? Because in some shape or form, you may have projected onto it based on past experiences or past energies, or you would have avoided it altogether, okay? So it was necessary for this healing to take place first before this new cycle truly was underway for you, okay? Because there is a lot of new energy coming in with this, okay? So yeah, definitely pay close attention to your emotions at this time, because that is what's showing you that is being released, okay? What you've been processing, what you've been working through, and any sort of remnants, okay, that requires your attention as well, all right? So we're going to get into this deeper. You may even feel that because of certain triggers or certain emotions arising after a long period of not feeling them or really not exploring them in that way, because it's just not been at the forefront of your mind. You've had other things, right, that you've been looking at, that you've been processing. Yeah, you may feel like it's put you in a very vulnerable energy or position because, obviously it's something that has an impact on you, right? But even with that sense of vulnerability and feeling exposed, it's enabling this clearing to really take place on such a profound level that even these remnants that are coming up, they are also being released, okay? So it's not that this echo of these energies are going to remain, you know, like even those remnants are being cleared out once and for all, okay? So this is very, very significant. But let's get some more insight when it comes to this and anything else you need to know pertaining to this. Anything else? All right. So you have the Two of Pentacles. Exactly, right? It's giving me this yin yang, okay? You've experienced one side of the coin. Now you're about to experience the other, okay? And that's the point. Because you've experienced some kind of detrimental situation, or something has had a profound impact on you, something you experienced in the physical, you now get to experience the alternate of that, okay? Because, yeah, whatever you needed to learn from this experience, or what you've come to understand, or the way in which you can apply this knowledge, however it's going to serve you in the next phase of your life, you have that in your tool belt now. So it's about being willing to embrace the new, okay? There are new experiences coming in, but you still needed to have the insight and the wisdom that you have now gained, okay? That's very, very significant. Yeah, you have the Hierophant in reverse. Yeah. So this could be this could have a lot to do with an unorthodox approach that you're taking, okay? So even this healing process may have felt very unusual or unorthodox, right? Maybe you didn't take the usual route that most people would take. Like, for example, maybe you didn't go to therapy. Maybe you've been knee deep in shadow work, right? You know how to do that. So maybe you've taken a different path to approach your healing, but it has paid off. It's been successful in whatever modality you used, right? Because it can vary from person to person. But it does look like you're carving out a path for yourself, okay? You're going against the grain in some shape or form. Interesting. Tell me more about this. Yeah, you have the Knight of Swords in reverse that came out with the Magician. Okay, so you may actually be keeping a lot close to the chest right now, because it's like you're not wanting to speak on things preemptively, especially because you are in the void state, okay? You are actively manifesting, attracting, and shifting your reality. We know that you've just come out the other side of this portal, okay? But there is a lot that's still malleable, okay, in this new quantum field, okay, that you're in. So because you're aware that, you know, you've just stepped into this new paradigm, it's still very malleable, okay? Nothing's really set in stone. You're not wanting to speak on anything preemptively, right? And essentially self-sabotage. So that's really good, okay? So I definitely feel like your mind is focused, okay? You're in the zone. And yeah, it's like I'd rather let the results speak for themselves, right? I have nothing to prove at this point. I'm not trying to gain favor. I'm not trying to gain validation. I don't need anyone's approval or say so or guidance when it comes to this in particular. I just need to trust myself and my process when it comes to what it is that I'm attracting in this new paradigm, this new timeline. Yeah, you have the Seven of Wands in reverse. So it does require a strong level of surrender and trust. And that can be the scariest thing of all. But guess what? You doing that is aligning you with this star energy, okay? So this is kind of like a double-edged sword, this star, right? I'm getting that with that Two of Pentacles. It's like, again, the clearing, the shedding, everything that essentially takes you out of your own authentic frequency, energy signature. Anything that stops you from really believing and trusting in your own vision, your own dreams, okay, aspirations, goals, your soul mission, life purpose, okay? There may be several things that you feel you're being called to do. And so anything that kind of distracts you anything that kind of distracts you from that, you see how even I got really tongue-tied there. So yeah, there could have been a lot of noise, a lot of distraction, but you've cleared a lot of that out now, okay? And so now you're focused on aligning your energy with what is truly aligned with your spirit, okay? With your vision, with your intentions here. Wow. But you are standing very firm on this, I must say, right? It's like You are not budging when it comes to that, okay? You're like, I have worked too hard to let anything stand in my way at this point. Yeah, you have the Six of Wands in reverse, because that's the thing. You're recognizing that had you not done this, nothing would have changed, right? Things are only changing because you were willing to change. You were willing to do things differently, okay? Go against the grain, the status quo. You are willing to take a different path here, okay? Because the tried and tested in some area wasn't working, okay? So you are carving out a significant path for yourself, right? But I just feel like, yeah, you may also have removed yourself from people that didn't want to see you succeed, okay? That felt threatened by the fact that your path was different or you were taking a different approach. Because I honestly believe with that Six of Wands there, had you have stayed, had you tried to make it work where you were, and just follow suit, like you wouldn't achieve the results you're about to achieve. Let's put it that way. Yeah, look, Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I'm telling you. You let go of everything that isn't synonymous with your Ten of Pentacles. That's what I'm seeing here. And that's where you're actively shifting, changing, okay? Because there was definitely circumstances, people, environments, approaches that would not have worked for you, okay? And I think you're recognizing that, okay, like this may work for them, but that doesn't work for me. Or, you know, this may be how things were, but that's not how things are now, you know? Like, we are operating at a completely different time. This is a different playing field. The old methods are not going to work, okay? Especially with that star there. I'm getting this North Node and Aquarius energy, which is what we are experiencing right now, okay? The North Node has shifted into Aquarius, South Node in Leo, okay? So you're thinking bigger, you're dreaming bigger, okay? So definitely the Aquarian spirit is here strongly when it comes to an act of rebellion, doing things differently, going against the grain with the hopes and the intentions of finding a better way, right? Tell me more. Yeah, Nine of Cups. And guess what? Because you're willing to go against the grain, because you're willing to take a more sort of unorthodox approach, right? You're not afraid to, you know, even do it single-handedly. You are going to accomplish something here. You're going to gain some kind of fulfillment here, right? This could be a wish fulfillment. This could be your manifestation coming to light, okay? Especially with that Magician, and you have the Star to the Nine of Cups, okay? So something that possibly people thought would fail is actually going to work out for you. So even though you don't really have a lot of belief from outside, right? Put it this way, you don't have a lot of people that believe in the choices you're making or the path you're taking, right? You're seeing it for what it is. That's their limitation. That doesn't have to be yours, right? So instead of allowing their limitation and short-sightedness to be your glass ceiling, you're choosing to ignore that and break free of that entirely, okay? So you're actually leaning strongly into this process and just getting rid of anything that basically stops you from believing in yourself, okay? So that's amazing. And again, it's not coming from desperation or fear. It's just coming from being so intentional, so tunnel visioned, right? It's like, no, you can sit there on the sidelines and be filled with doubt and lack and limitation and stick to what you know. But I know this path is going to work out one way or another. Even if I fail initially, I will get back up. I will find another way. Either way, it's going to work out because I'm open enough to explore new possibilities, okay? I haven't got a glass ceiling at this point. And guess what? Because you're coming from that perspective, that's exactly why you're going to succeed, okay? That's why you're going to experience some kind of wish fulfillment here. Right? Despite all odds. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. It's like people are looking at this like it's a 1 in a million shot that this works out, and it actually works out. Right? It's going to feel almost miraculous. Yeah, you have the Eight of Pentacles. I'm telling you, right? You're like, you know what? What I was doing in the past isn't working. Following the tried and tested doesn't work, okay? I tried a different method. Okay, that didn't work for me either. But guess what? I'm trying again. I'm trying something else in a different way. I'm putting forth the effort, the time, the energy, the resources, okay? And it's working out for me. Yeah, you took a gamble here, right? A calculated risk. 4 of Pentacles. You broke free out of some kind of comfort zone, and that's what freed you from some kind of glass ceiling here, some limitation. Because you took a calculated risk and you betted on yourself, your vision, your calling, your mission statement, your purpose here, okay? Your dream. And it's actually paying off, okay? So I just dropped a card. Ugh. So I'm telling you, your efforts are not going unrewarded, okay? It may feel like it. It may even look like it right now, okay? But like I said, this wouldn't have worked out for you had you not gone through this process first, okay? And like I said, it was to help you shift out of this frequency of self-sabotage, doubt, limitation, okay? And unfortunately, some people are still stuck there, right? They don't even want to consider the possibility of something different taking shape in their lives, right? They'd rather stick to what they know rather than take a leap of faith, right? But that's not you. You're not willing to settle for something that, you know, makes you unhappy, right? Or that isn't aligned with you energetically, emotionally, spiritually. So this is why it's going to pay off for you. I'm telling you. Look at that. The moon in reverse. We have the moon here and we have the moon in reverse. So that's what was hidden from you, right? That's the hidden puzzle piece here. That you had to go through this emotional clearing to be able to align with your destiny here. Okay, because your emotions, your perspective, your perception, okay, your beliefs was clouding your vision, and it was preventing you from taking the necessary steps to align with some kind of destined path here, right? And it's destined for you because it's something that is closely aligned with your spirit, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in your natal chart, in the astrology side of things, that will attest to what this is. And it could be more than one thing, okay? You're not limited by any means. So have a close look at that, okay? Because you may see or get a glimpse into your astrology, right? How it correlates to something that is about to unfold for you or is unfolding. But it's being brought to your conscious awareness now. The moon's in reverse, okay? So you're aware of this now. You're aware how much your emotions and the emotional projections of others are so influential, not only in your beliefs, not only over your energy, but how you actually manifest and how you actually move and the decisions you make, right? Yeah, because your energy is extremely potent. So if anything sort of muddies the waters for you, then it can affect the way your manifestations come in, which is why you had to be willing to surrender. You had to be willing to be vulnerable, right? Open up your heart to be able to receive, right? And clear your vision, okay? Especially where it's got muddied, right? Where it got cloudy for a minute and you couldn't see up from down and you couldn't differentiate what was your emotions and someone else's projections and, you know, all of this baggage essentially that you was carrying from the past. All of that is being cleared out now. So you can see clearly now and you're recognizing like, yeah, I need to be locked in because this is going to happen for me. And guess what? It is happening, okay? Yeah. But that's the thing. I do feel like through this, of course, yes, you've had to cut your losses in some situations, in some connections. I'm not going to lie to you. There are certain people that are feeling your absence, okay? And you may feel a certain way about that depending on who these people are, okay? That could also be where this melancholy is coming in, okay? Where you can feel they're missing of you, they're longing for you, okay? But you're recognizing that this is something you have to do. And again, it's not that you're just cutting people off for the sake of it. It's just you can't drag anyone along for the ride, right? You have to go your way and people have to go theirs. They're either going to be part of this chapter or they're not. Who's to say? Maybe in the future they will come back around, okay? But either way, everything's going to work out just fine. That's what you need to know with temperance, okay? So just make sure you show yourself and others grace at this time, okay? Because, yeah, there are certain people who, some of which doesn't actually mean you ill or anything like that, but they're just stuck, okay? And they couldn't come around to your way of thinking. So just send them your best wishes, okay? And keep moving forward. Because no one said it had to be the end, right? Like the end, right? It's a different thing from situations where you know certain people have to be left once and for all, right? Like you have to keep the door closed because of just how much chaos and turbulence and turmoil they've brought into your life, okay? So you can vet that accordingly. But the main thing is that you have a balanced approach to these things, okay? And you recognize that, you know, this isn't just about being so headstrong when it comes to what it is you want to achieve or create, right? At the cost of all of your relationships. No, that's not the energy here. It's about recognizing that, you know, everyone's got their path. Everyone's at different points in the journey, okay? And you are not responsible for where people are at. You can show support, right? You can show care and compassion, but you can't make anyone do anything. It's like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, you know? And I think that's something that you've had to accept, you know? That with all the will in the world, if they're not willing to help themselves, there's nothing you can do. You had to leave them where they stood, right? And just keep it pushing. So that's what you're doing, okay? But look, you had the Temperance, now you got the Empress. So I'm telling you, like, the divine is blessing you, okay? You don't even see it yet, but you're about to. Like, I honestly feel like you could have been connecting strongly with the angelic realm, okay? Your guardian angels or a certain team, right, of spirit guides, okay? Yeah. But either way, there is a lot of support coming in. And again, it's like, okay, you've done the necessary emotional clearing, right? You've done the necessary purging and processing and healing. You are ready. You're ready to receive some kind of major blessing here, right? And it could feel like a miracle. Because like I say, there's something about what's coming in for you that is a wish come true, a dream fulfilled, okay? It's going to make you over the moon, extremely happy. And other people are going to be looking at you like, how the hell did they do this? How is this even possible? That's a pipe dream. That was like a 1 in a million chance that that would have worked out. And somehow it worked out for them. The power of belief, right? King of Swords in reverse. This is the thing. You can't convince anyone of anything, right? Again, that's their glass ceiling. They didn't think it was a possibility. So guess what? To them, it's not a possibility. For you, it was almost like certainty, okay? And so that's why it's happening. Because it's like, why would I believe anything else, right? I have to believe that it's at least possible. I'm not saying it's going to play out exactly as I envision, but I have to believe that it's at least somewhat possible, right? And guess what? It is. Exactly. So you can rest assured in the knowledge that all is working out for your highest good, okay? And you're ready, okay? The time is now. You are having your destiny activated. It is unfolding, okay? So whatever this is for you, this dream, vision, calling, purpose, right? You're going to know what that is, okay? You've already had this revealed to you on some level, or you're about to, which is why these signs are coming in very strong to let you know that this is about to be revealed to you, okay? And it's while you're coming out of this powerful healing process, this healing portal, right? Yeah. So my advice is whatever lingering emotions is coming up, don't assume that, oh, that's, you know, that's a sign that I've still got more work to do, or, you know, I haven't surrendered. It's like, no, you're just releasing the residual, okay? So just trust that this process is unfolding as it needs to, okay? You are definitely coming out the other side of this. And so you're just shaking off the remnants of that energy, okay? And yes, you could be picking up on the fact that certain people are absolutely feeling your absence, okay? So guys, that's essentially the message. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you did enjoy it, if you found it useful, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, click the notifications bell and click all so you know when your next reading will be posted, okay? All your support means the world to me, and it's really needed at this time because I'd love to continue posting these readings, okay? But I really do need your support to make that happen, all right? So guys, take care, and I will speak to you later. Bye.